We all know the story. You gather the Eyes of Ender, you find the Stronghold, you jump through the portal, and you beat the game. But what if I told you the end wasn't a final line? It was a prison. A fallout shelter where an entire civilization suffered a fate worse than death. Today we are opening the final classified file. This is the tragic, terrifying truth of what actually happened to the ancient builders in the end. To understand the tragic end of the builders, we first have to look at how they left the overworld. They were running from something. They fled deep underground into the strongholds, opened the portal, and vanished. But they didn't just leave. They locked the door behind them. Take a look at the silverfish spawner sitting right next to the end portal. We assume it's just a random dungeon feature. It's not. It is a biological booby trap. The builders knew their enemies would eventually follow their map. If anyone hostile entered the portal room, the silverfish would swarm, infesting the stone bricks, destroying the room, and burying the portal forever. They were making absolutely sure nothing could follow them. It was a one-way trip. But when the builders stepped through that portal, they didn't find a sanctuary. They found a barren, floating wasteland. There are no animals in the end, no crops, no water. The only organic matter in the entire dimension is chorus fruit. It was the only thing they could eat to survive. But a diet of pure chorus food comes with a terrifying side effect. Eating it keeps you alive, but it fundamentally alters your DNA. It forces your body to uncontrollably teleport. This wasn't a strange food source. It was the beginning of a severe biological mutation. And as the dimension slowly poisoned them, the society began to crack. As starvation set in and resources vanished, survival of the fittest took over. Paranoia destroyed the builders. We look at the end cities and assume they were grand homes or castles. But if they were homes, why are they impossibly tall, vertical, and completely unnavigable? Because they weren't homes. They were impenetrable walls. The leaders of the builders locked themselves away, hoarding their final treasures, diamonds, enchanted armors, and weapons high in the sky, completely out of reach from the starving masses below. But a vault is useless if it's left unguarded. Using dark and magic, they engineered the shulkers. Just like they once built iron golems to protect overworld villages, they crafted artificial living armor bound to purple blocks. These were biological security cameras programmed to fire levitation bullets, dropping any starving intruder to their death. Long after the builders mutated, the shulkers remained, blindly guarding vaults of treasure that no one was left to spend. The leaders were safe in the towers, but they quickly realized a horrifying truth. A vault is just a grave if you can't leave. The end ships floating out in the void hold the saddest secret in all of Minecraft. We use Elytra to soar around our worlds and build massive projects. But for builders, the Elytra was a symbol of absolute despair. They weren't built for fun. A desperate faction realized they had to escape the dimension. They crafted makeshift gliders, walked out to the prow of those flying ships, and threw themselves into the infinite black void, hoping to glide to another world. The ships are empty because none of them made it. The void is endless. They simply fell, trapped, starving, poisoned by the chorus fruit. The builders who remained on the island had nowhere left to run. Over centuries, the void's gravity stretched their limbs. The chorus fruit completely corrupted their biology. They forgot their history. They forgot their language, their voices, distorting into reverse static audio. They didn't just die out in the end, they mutated. They became the Enderman. But the most heartbreaking part isn't what they became, it's what they remember. Even now, wandering the overworld, an Enderman will randomly stop and pick up a grass block. They don't build with it, they don't eat it, they just hold it. It is a broken, fading instinct, a tragic subconscious memory of a time before the end. A memory of a beautiful overworld home they locked themselves out of forever. The end isn't a victory screen. It is a graveyard of greed, fear, and desperation. Thank you for opening this classified file with me here on QuickFacts Hub. If you want to uncover more of gaming's darkest secrets, make sure to subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.